probably wondering, the things of my travels. What did I do? What did I see? I got to show a little bit. Now, for those who are members of my on my YouTube server, you got to see a lot more of the stuff I got to see, and because I like taking pictures of places and things and all the way around and such. So so I was in Peru. Peru is a lovely country, but then I also went to Argentina as well because who wants to know a little bit about Lightful is since anyone is obvious to know, I am part Latina from my mother's side, and her origins or her place that she originally lives is Peru. So that's why I have sometimes in special occasions I will talk in Spanish. I am fluent in Spanish. Don't say I'm 100% an expert on Spanish, because it is a second language of mine. So that's why I fumble. That's why at times I will fumble on the words of Spanish, but then again I also fumble my words on English. because English. So, Peru, I went to visit family. Especially for my mother, she wanted to visit her family, and I have to say, everybody, Peru has the best tasty meat there. I have to say so for myself. It's the meat is so good. Like, if you want to get a good steak, Peru has like the fresh, tasty steak. They use all parts of the cow. They would use a meat from the stomach of the cow, and they call it pancita. I want my dad to try that. He's missing out. Some people would be like, oh, that's gross. Like what? Who would eat the stomach from a cow and then eat like that's the same thing. My dad had the same reactions. Like, I don't want to eat that. That sounds disgusting. It's from the stomach of the cow. And my mom even said like, but you already eat parts of a cow. You eat like steak and stuff, and you know what, that makes sense, because okay, for those who like meat, I love seafood. And I have to compare meat or seafood. I love seafood more. Peru's known for the fresh seafood and the fresh meat. They do a great job. And FYI for all of you, I don't like steak in US. And I think what ruined it, probably because when I was a kid, my mom always liked her steak well done, so it's always chewy. And I never liked, and I think that's what happened. I chose to dislike steak because it was chewy. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for the gifted memberships. Thank you, Six. Thank you so much, and thank you for being a delightful supporter. Thank you. Well, done steak be like meat chewing. Yes, that's what it was. That's literally what it was. It was like, when I was a kid, I just kept chewing the freaking steak and had trouble swallowing it. That's why I hated steak so bad as a kid, and that's what ruined it for me. That's how it ruined it for me. So I don't like steak in US. I say US because if you go to Peru and ask for a steak there, you would be surprised, like super surprised. Because one time I tried their steak there. First of all, I didn't think that was steak. I didn't see it as steak. You know how you get like a pork rib from like the meat from a pork? That's how I saw their steak. And when I ate it, it was like juicy and soft. And then I was telling my mom, what the heck is this? And then I'm like, it's really good. And my mom's like, oh, that's our Peruvian steak. And I'm like, and I was like, no way, this is steak. There's no way that's yeah, but I don't want to digress too much on food, but if you ever want to visit Peru, their meat is amazing there. But I cannot agree more. They have the ways they use their meat and make something tasty is good. Sometimes it can, and some people will say like some people will question me like oh, so have you eaten the meat? So if someone comes to tell me, so what else kind of cow meat did you had over there, Lightful? I'm like, well, I had the meat from the heart of a cow. It was delicious. It was hearty, healthy. I'm an adventurer for I'm very adventurous when trying food, okay? You can never judge by the title of the food until you taste it yourself, okay? Just never question it, just try it. But don't even think about it. Just try it and see if you like it. Because if you do, then there you go. Quite a hearty meal. Yes, I did. Okay. So I was there for quite a couple days, a week. I give it a week. I was there in Peru for a week because remember I was gone for 2 weeks, and the reason why I tell people that I won't live stream, even if I bring my computer, I cannot even make any shorts. I thought I could, but I couldn't because I'll tell you why. There's only one thing I kinda don't like about Peru, depending where you live. Wi-Fi sucks. Wi-Fi sucks in some places in Peru. You have like it's just not good. It's just not good because the Wi-Fi is shared over there. Like Wi-Fi is shared and the Wi-Fi can go out at a certain time. So it kind of sucks. So you can't really do much with that. Unless you go to like a tourist area, then yeah, you'll be fine. But Peru is a touristic place technically, but it's not the greatest in Wi-Fi. It's not the greatest in Wi-Fi. Not for live streaming, in my opinion, but I don't know. I can't assume that because I don't live there, but every time I have gone and visited Peru, this is probably my 4th time visiting Peru, and honestly I can say every time when we rent a home just to stay for a while, the Wi-Fi just sucks. That's it. So yeah, so anytime you want to go to Peru, expect great tasty meat and tasty seafood. It's good. It's fresh, but for traveler advice, do not drink the water. You would, like anyone who is new to a different country, I don't recommend drinking the water. In Peru, you can buy the water in bottles, but don't drink their tap water. And when you go to a restaurant, ask them. Of course, you have to be bilingual in Spanish. Most of them speak Spanish, by the way. and ask them if their drinks are made from tap, because most of their drinks, like let's say for example, I would love to try a smoothie in Peru or the juices in Peru from the restaurants, but I can't, guys. You know why? Because if I start drinking, the problem is with visitors from other countries, we get upset stomachs. So like one time when I did drink something, they for some reason they did use tap, and I had a terrible stomach ache or food poisoning because my stomach couldn't handle it or something. Yeah, that is the traveler's advice that I can recommend to you. So yeah, so if you're probably wondering like, oh, so you couldn't drink water over no, I hate when I don't drink water over there. I really love drinking my water, and I can't even bring water because thanks to airport security, they forbid all the time from not taking your water. Or here's another thing, when you go, I hate this. This happens in Peru from my experience, even for tourists, and they find this stupid. I find this stupid. Even my mother thinks this is stupid. Whenever you want to go back from Peru to US, there is this security to recheck your bags and recheck your you know, your carry-on luggage and stuff. They will check, and they make sure they dispose your water. Like I got to see this young girl. She looked like she was around my age. They saw she had her water bottle, and they said to her like, yeah, you have to either drink it or dispose of it. And she was like, I guess I saw her with the look like, why can't I not take it? Like, it's either you have to empty your water bottle, or we have to get rid of it. It sucks. That's the only thing my mom doesn't like when we go to the Peruvian airport to go back to US. They really forbid you to take any drink, even if you bought it from the airport. That just sucks. You don't ever see it happen in US, but like after when we're done with our security check, we don't need to have another security check. We already bought our stuff and we take it with us. Over there right now, certain places in South America, it is cold there, but for me it's fine. So okay, so in my travels, being a week there in Peru, the coldest that it gets, it's like 45 to 48 to 52 degrees. For them, it's very, very cold. For me, that's refreshing. Beats the hot, cruel summer weather. Since I'm back here now, it's humid here where I'm at. It's humid and hot. I will tell you, it's humid, and it's like almost a desert. But luckily I don't live in the desert. But you know what I mean. What was the temperature? Well, in Peru, it's like 48 to 52 Fahrenheit. But I know most people in other places use Celsius. I'm not familiar with Celsius as much. So if you do a conversion with Fahrenheit and Celsius, there you go. It was refreshing though. I had to pack, like, the only thing I did had to pack was like sweaters and stuff, and yeah, pretty much it. That's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect for me too. It's pretty hot over here right now where I'm at. But over there, they're in winter time, so it's like cold for them. They'll be wearing their bundle coats and everything, and I tell my cousin, like, you have not experienced real cold yet. This is not even the tip of cold here. It's so anyways, I only stayed there for a week. I'm glad I got to enjoy Peruvian food again. The next place I got to visit for the very first time is Argentina, and that's where I got to stay a week. Yeah, we stayed like 5 days in Argentina, and then we went to another place in Argentina that was at the equator of Brazil. So if you saw like a picture of these big waterfalls, I was near the equator of Brazil, and that was cool. It was really cool because how do I first of all, I was literally in the jungle. There were birds that were so used to people that they just want your food. It it was interesting. I love seeing tropical nature. I touched grass, everybody. So if anyone tells me otherwise, like, Leifel, you should go and touch some grass, and I'm like, I already touched grass. I went into the jungle and to see huge, humongous waterfalls off the horizons. I have accomplished the touch grass achievement. So where I was at the equator, Brazil, is that place was hot. That place, I was lucky that I had shirts and stuff to bring me, because that place was hot. Over there was like where I was at that jungle area. So it was the Caratas of Carazoo. That's the name. That's the name in Spanish, and I think that's how it's named in Spanish. I would not know for a fact, but it was pretty. But so I did got to see like the buildings of Argentina there. It was pretty modern. Places look fine. I will be completely honest here, though. There were some things I didn't like about Argentina. And I don't want to offend anyone who's from Argentina. Their economy sucks. Their economy is so bad. First of all, when we get to Argentina, there's barely a place to change. Now this is from my experience. Not everyone's experience is different, but my mother and I had a very hard time finding what I could call a world exchange. Like you know how you have to change your US dollars to a type of currency? We had trouble finding that. Like, we terribly had trouble finding that. You mean like ATM? Yeah, that's like we had. Yeah, ATM was also a little bit of a pain, because there were some ATMs that you can't use because they want you to use it at their preferred bank. But yeah, we had a hard time finding a universal ATM, and when we did the fees are terrible. It's $10. It's a $10 fee to take out money. Well, depending on the card you use, but for my mom, she used a bank that gave her a big fee, so it was terrible. And okay, so when we were in this one touristic place where the waterfalls, for some reason, I don't know why, they don't have a place to exchange US dollars to their currency. So I think their currency, if I remember correctly, is called pesos. But oh gosh, guys, their economy is so bad. I love soccer. Okay, so I love soccer, so I support this one known soccer player called Messi, and I'm gonna support this soccer player even more now, because Messi, when he won the the World Cup in 2022, he got a lot of money, and for getting money from their own country, it also supports not only him but also to the other players that are there, because that's why Argentina loves soccer, because the economy is just so bad, but when they win a World Cup tournament, they get a lot of money, and that's perfect for them. But the whole point, I don't want to, I will tell you though, this is true. This is a true story. This is a funny story. Since I brought up this subject. We were so I was in a place, it was Buenos Aires, Argentina. It was a lovely place. We rented a home apartment from this one lady who hosted. She was very nice, and I think she is probably a wealthy person. I think so, because we got to learn a lot of information from a taxi driver. They pointed out the road that we were living in was an expensive area. The area that we were at was very expensive. So the more we thought about it, the more my mom's like, okay, that makes sense. because her whole entire place was organized, cozy, and everything. And the fact that you had to use so this was her apartment, like a really nice, well-kept apartment. And I don't think she lives there. I think she lives in her own home, and she uses I use Airbnb. I honestly, if I have to give anyone a good advice for anything, Airbnb is better than paying for a hotel. Hotels are expensive as heck. But no. Anyways, Okay, so let me give you a little interesting fact of how bad their economy is. So, let's say so you probably might know a $1 bill. A $1 bill is, $1. So they have this dollar called 1,000 pesos. You might probably think, oh, that's a lot of money. $1,000 bill? 1,000 pesos? No. You want to know what's the value of 1,000 pesos? 86 cents. It's barely $1, guys. It's barely $1. It's bad. That's when we learned, because I think we got more information from taxi drivers that were nice enough to be touristically know of information. They even told us yeah, there are certain places that they're restricting to exchange dollar bills because of fraud. And we were like, oh, I see. So that was why it was hard for us to find an actual universal ATM. This is the reason why we had trouble exchanging real money. There was another issue. Oh, by the way, Peru, if you're curious, does Peru do this? No. Peru's actually has world exchange everywhere. Like everywhere. And they're well trusted, in my opinion. Argentina was a whole other level of completely being lost on how to exchange money, like to their currency, and to the fact that we earn less. Like, for them, when they see dollar bills, they get excited. They get super excited. Like Argentina does like to accept US dollar bills. For them, it's like treasure. It's completely like treasure for them, because they know that US money is, for them, like rich money that they like to get their hands on. It's gold. Yeah, it's gold. It's completely gold. They want to keep that. They want to have that. So let me tell you a story though that happened. Now this happened to my mom's friend, because she tagged along with us in our travels. So this is a true story, and I feel bad for her. We got conned from one taxi driver that only wants to accept just pesos or US dollar bills. And they help us get to the airport. By the time we got to the airport, my mom couldn't use her card. Some taxi drivers let you use card. This one didn't. And we didn't have enough money to pay him in pesos, but we had US dollars. So, the only dollars we had was, my mom had $100 bill, and so did her friend. And so this taxi driver didn't want to take my mom's wrinkled $100 bill. Like, he wanted to take her friend's not wrinkled $100 bill. And we indeed noticed. I noticed that he didn't have enough to pay the money that's equivalent of the value of $100 bill. So her friend got scammed. He gave her less. So I feel bad. So she got less the amount that she was supposed to get money back because he took the $100 bill. He wanted the $100 bill, but he also wanted to take my mother's $10 bill. But I was like, I was about to step in, and my mom immediately like said, no. You already have the $100 bill. That's enough for everything, because the pesos that you asked is already more of a $100 bill worth. So we couldn't discuss or argue much anymore. We because it was already too late. And we had to get into the airport and everything. So in the end, he took the money. He's like the richest. Not really. I mean, it's at least it satisfied his week that he got himself a $100 bill. But yeah, we got like less than what he's supposed to pay for my mom's friend, which sucked. But yeah, that's the story. That's literally what happened. I have to mention, there were a lot of poor people there. Like, so for many, who don't know, there's like a lot of homeless in US. But I think in South America, they have it worse. I think they have it worse because at times when we travel and walk on foot, you'll see people like with them in blankets covering themselves up during the cold nights. You'll see that in public. You'll see people. I saw kids on the street selling like necklaces or jewelry that they made from themselves, and they will call out to see if they have money, like if anyone can buy something. Now my mom is a kind-hearted person, so if she sees anything, she will help and pay. I'm like that too. So I have an interesting story to tell you, because this happened. So I think this was on our 4th day. We were at this touristic area in Argentina called Adigre. It's like a park with boats and everything. And we were at this restaurant to eat because it was cheaper than going to the actual touristic area because it would be more expensive. And there was this middle-aged lady, she was not asking for money. She was asking for food. She wanted food, and she asked anyone if they had anything warm that she can have to eat. And once I was done eating my meal at the restaurant with my mom and my cousin and her friend, I saw the lady who was tapping on the glass on this couple that just finished their food, but they only left like 2 pizzas on their plate, like as if they don't want to take them with them. And she tapped on the glass outside of the restaurant asking, this is legit, I saw this, I witnessed this. She tapped on the glass asking if gesturing like if she can have that. And this guy ignored her, and I was like, what the heck, dude? Like, what the heck? Why would you ignore someone that wanted food? So, once they left, leaving the leftover food on the table, the greatest thing about Argentina is the employees in restaurants. They know that homelessness is tough. That they actually, I got to see the lady, the employee, let her go into the restaurant to take the leftover food from the table. So they let her have the leftover food. And that was really nice. Like, she even let her have a bottle of tea, I think I saw, to give her the drink along the way. Now, if you're wondering, I also felt bad too that we had like a bunch of bread served to us as an appetizer. I bagged them up and I gave it to the lady. Like there was like 4 small loaves of bread and I gave it to her. I told her like, hey, this is for you. Of course it says this in Spanish. I told her like, hey, I hope this, it's not much, but I hope it helps. And she was happy. She was happy to have it. And because all she had was with her it's just her and her book bag, just probably where she puts her food or blankets in. So in like for me in US now, for where I live, there is a place for homeless. There's like a homeless shelter, but other places there isn't. There's non-existent like places for homeless. Like a shelter for homeless. There is not like a shelter for homeless anywhere. In US there is. Because I know, because in my downtown there is a homeless shelter. You just have to be in the program to get into it, because I noticed there's like a special lock to the door. I don't know how it works, unfortunately. But I do. When I worked at a news studio way back when, long time ago, I got to help film the inside of people volunteering to make food and give food to the poor. Like they would get free meals at a certain time. I mean, that's US. Other parts of the country, there's no such place. Unfortunately. It's unfortunate. And that's why it's a good reminder to everybody. A great reminder. It's always a good reminder to know, like, be proud of what you got. Some people have it worse. And also, if you don't like certain food, just be glad that you have food. Because others don't. That has been my journey and my travels. I've seen the good, I've seen the bad. Nothing ugly or anything, but the issues or things you have to worry about traveling. But I had fun. It's always good to discover. It's always good to discover. It's always good to experiment or experience. Fun fact about Argentina. I thought this was hilarious. There's no such thing as soup for them there. So my mom's friend wanted some soup. She had like a terrible whooping cough, and she needed something warm and hot. They just don't eat soup there. I have no idea. It's like soup is so non-existent for them. We even asked the taxi driver, and he's like, "Yeah, we don't really care or need soup." So there was this soup that we tried. I promise you it's not soup. They call it soup though in Spanish. Okay. It was called sopa de Paraguay. So it's a Paraguay soup. So when they brought it, it was like a corn cake, guys. It was a corn cake. It looked like a corn cake. It tasted like a corn cake. And they call it Paraguay soup. Well, in Spanish, they call it sopa de Paraguay. It's not soup. It's totally not soup. We've been bamboozled. So yeah, soup's not existent for them. I guess if you ask them for soup, they're gonna give you a corn cake, Paraguay corn cake, or something. Well, that's the fun of discovery.